Instability of colonial administration. The chaotic reign of King Ferdinand VII from 1808 to 1833 marked the beginning of political mayhem in Spain. From 1834 to 1862, Spain had adopted 4 constitutions, elected 28 parliaments, and installed the not less than 529 ministers with portfolios, followed in subsequent years by party stripes, revolutions, and other political upheavals. The political instability in Spain affected Filipino affairs because it brought about recurrent periodic shift in colonial policies and periodic reguidon of colonial officials. Spain's political instability resulted to the loss of many its colonies in America. Spain changed its policies in the Philippines and made periodic replacement of Spanish officials. These frequent changes of the administration in the Philippines hampered down the economic and political conditions of the country. Philippine economy and politics grew from bad to worse at that time. Corrupt officialdom was another evil of the Spanish colonial system. Many colonial officials became rich by illegal means or by marrying the heiresses of rich Filipino families. Mostly ignorant and profligate, they conducted themselves with arrogance because of their alien white skin and tall noses. General Rafael de Izquierdo from 1871 to 1873. He was famous for his use of iron fist type of government. He was a ruthless governor-general, aroused the anger of the Filipinos by executing Fathers Mariano Gomez, Jose Burgos, and Jacinto Zamora. Gomburza murders of 1872. General Fernando Primo de Rivera, 1880 to 1883 and 1897 to 1898. He enriched himself by accepting bribes from gambling casinos in Manila, which he permitted to operate. He suspended hostilities in the Philippine Revolution through negotiations with Emilio Aguinaldo in the Pact of Biak na Bato. General Valeriano Weyler from 1888 to 1891. He was a cruel and corrupt governor-general of Hispanic German ancestry. Arrived in Manila poor man and returned to Spain a millionaire. He received huge briberies from wealthy Chinese who evaded anti-Chinese laws. Filipinos calls him tyrant because of his persecution of the family of Rizal in Calamba. General Camilo de Polaviejo from 1896 to 1897. He was noble militarist but a heartless governor-general, responsible for Rizal's execution. The social system feudalism was the social structure in the Philippines during the Spanish colonial period. Philippine representation of Spanish Cortes, motif of Spain, gained the support of the overseas colonies. Freedom of the press, freedom of assembly. The Spanish authorities will cherish these human rights for constitutional liberties, and Spain denied them to the Filipinos in Asia. Human rights denied to Filipinos, connected to racial discrimination. Filipinos were deprived of their freedom of speech, press, association, and other human rights except the freedom of religion. No equality before the law are seen only in the eyes of God, but in the eyes of the Spaniards, Filipinos are of lower class compared to the Spaniards. Spanish missionaries in 16th century taught that all men, irrespective of color and race, are children of God, and that such they are brothers, equal before God. To the imperialist way of thinking, brown Filipinos and white Spaniards may be equal to God, but not before the law, and certainly not in practice. Spanish colonial authorities arrogantly treated the brown-skinned Filipinos as inferior beings, not their Christian brothers to be protected, but rather as their majesty subjects to be exploited. Leyes to Indian, laws of the Indies, promulgated by the Christian monarchs of Spain to protect the rights of natives in Spain's overseas colonies to promote their welfare. But it wasn't implemented by the officials Filipino, were abused, brutalized, persecuted, and slandered by their Spanish invaders. Racial discrimination during Rizal's time, a white skin, high nose, and Castilian image were a badge of wanted superiority. Filipinos were regarded as inferior beings. Racial prejudice is rampant in the Philippines, especially in the offices, military, social gatherings, and schools. Man's merit was based on the color of the skin, hair, the shape of the nose, and of the head. Racial prejudice is still being practiced today. The example of it is the gender identity of a person. Even though LGBTQ community is now accepted in the society, there are still some other people that disagree with this.